Hey there, greetings and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So I'm just basically redoing one of my strange Fascinations, episode 22, which features this guy right here, Bon Scott. I'm not sure why, but the audio part of the video did not go through. I tried figuring it out but wasn't able to, so I'm just going to redo the video. So today we're talking about Bon Scott, legendary vocalist for AC/DC. So my story with Bon Scott starts with Back in Black, ironically, since he isn't even on the album. But I bought the album Back in Black, and it was a big hit with me, not just me, but just about everybody. And I really liked it a lot. Like, I thought, this is great. And then my friend says, yeah, but that's not the original singer. The original singer is the guy who died on the last album. I said, you mean the guy who put them on the map isn't this guy? He says, no, he's not. So I went back and started listening to some of the earlier stuff, Highway to Hell, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. There's a couple of others too, and I just discovered that over time I became a huge fan of this guy. He's a great frontman. He writes some really interesting lyrics. He's a quintessential type of rock star, and he's got a voice that's really, I find really appealing. And, you know, people will say, well, they had their biggest album with Back in Black and he wasn't on that album. That's true, but I think if he had been on that album, it would have been just as big, maybe even bigger. Nothing against Brian Johnson, great singer. That was a legendary album. He'll forever go down in history of being part of that. But I think Bon Scott had survived, he would have been just as big, maybe bigger. That's just my opinion. He just was a consummate professional frontman. I can't think of a better frontman. I mean, there's lots of great frontmen out there, but nobody's better than him, I don't think. So anyways, that's my story about Bon Scott, and he's only gotten, over the years, it's only gotten more. I really think the guy was destined for stardom, more so than he even had, you know. Just unfortunately, he passed on before his time, you know. You know, if you look at some of the albums that he had, that he was on, which is normal with bands, they build up slowly, right? Their first album is good, and then they have a little letdown, and then they start to come on again, and the writing gets better, and the music gets better, and the production gets better, and the group gets bigger, and they play in bigger stadiums, so they have more money, they buy better equipment, the music sounds even better, right? And so for him, his top of the ladder for him was Highway to Hell, this album here. It's a great album, one of the best rock albums, I think, of all time, at least for hard rock anyways. Every song on it is just really good. Some are really great, some are just good, but they still, like, there isn't a bad track on this album. And most of my favorite AC/DC songs are probably come from this album. And, you know, he has that voice that just makes this group stand out, you know. And again, nothing against Brian Johnson, but this guy was the guy, I think. So let me know how you feel about Bon Scott and what you thought about him. I know he was a bit of a party animal, and he probably, like the title track said, was on his highway to hell, you know. He lived fast, like a blue star, burned bright, but burned out fast, you know. Anyways, that's my take on Bon Scott, one of the great vocalists of all time. Got me into AC/DC, got me into listening to a lot of Australian stuff too that I hadn't listened to before, because I thought if any place can put out these guys, they got to have other people that are really great too. So for me, it was an eye-opener, and unfortunately, he was gone before I even knew he existed. That's unfortunate, but that's sometimes the way it is. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this one comes through. If you did, please like and subscribe for today's strange fascination on September the 22nd. So have a good day. Bye.